Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This evening's reciters are Mrida Sachi Mataji for English and Vanita Mataji for Sanskrit. And they'll be reading from Canto 3, Chapter 21, verse 1 to 14. So, Mataji, please start with the invocation 3 times. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chapter 21, Conversation between Manu and Gardama. Text 1. Vidura uvacha swayambhuvasya chamanor Vamsa Paramasamaha Atyaptam Bhagavan Yatra Medhunena Tire Pracha.
Vidura said, the line of Swayambhu Manu was much esteemed. O worshipful says, I beg you, give me an account of this race whose progeny multiplied through the sexual intercourse.
Priyavattatana Pado Suto Shvambhu Vashyave Yatha Dharmam Jagupatu Saptvavitamahim.
The two great sons of Swayambhu Manu, Priyavarta and Utpanapad, ruled the world, consisting of the 7 islands, just according to religious principles.
Tasya Veduhita Brahman Devahuti Vishruta Patni Praptapatte Rukta Kardamasya Tvayag Nagnaha.
O holy Brahmana, O sinless one, you have spoken of his daughter now by the name of Devahuti as the wife of the sage Kardama, the lord of created beings.
Kashyam Sabha Mahayogi Yuktayam Yoga Lakshane Sahasrachakya Viryam Tanme Shushrave Vada.
How many offspring did the great yogi beget through the princess who had endowed with the perfection in the yoga principles? Oh, pray tell me this, for I am eager to hear it.
Ruchiryo Bhagavan Brahman Daksho va Brahmana Shuta Yatha Sasarja Bhutani Lapatva Bharyam Namanavim.
O holy says, tell me how the worshipful Ruchi and Daksha, the son of Brahma, generated children after securing as their wives and the other two daughters of Swayambha Manu.
Maitreya Uvacha Prajashveti Bhagavan Kardammo Brahmanaditaha Saraswatyam Tapastepe Sahasranam Samadasha.
The great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by Lord Brahma to beget children in the world, the worshipful Kardama Muni practices penance of the bank of the river Saraswati for a period of 10,000 years.
ततः समाधियुक्तेन क्रियायोगेन कर्दमः सम्प्रप्रदे हरिं पत्या प्रपन्ना वरदासु सम्.
During the period of penance, the sage Kardama, by worshipping through devotional service in the trains, propitiated the personality of Godhead, who is the quick bestower of all being upon those who flee to him for protection.
तत्त्वात् प्रसन्नो भगवान् पुष्कराक्ष कृते युगे दर्शनम् एष तं क्षताः संवत् ब्रह्मा ददत् वपुः.
Then in the Satya Yuga, the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, being pleased, showed himself to that Kardama Muni and displayed his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas.
सातं विराजम् अर्कभम् सीता पद्मोत्पलाशजम् श्रीनिघ्ना नीलालकाव्रता वक्त्रजनम् विराजप्रमम्.
Kardama Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free from the material contamination in his internal form, effulgent like the sun, wearing a garland of white lotuses and water lilies. The Lord can clad in the spotless yellow silk, and his lotus face was fringed with the sleek dark lock of curly hair.
किरीटेनां कुण्डलीनां शङ्खचक्रगदाधरम् श्वेतोत्पलकृतानकम् मनःस्पर्शस्मिनेक्षणम्.
Adorned with the crown and earrings, he held his characteristic conch and mesh in three of his hands and a white lily in the fourth. He glanced about in happy, smiling mood whose sight captivates the heart of all devotees.
विन्यस्त्रकरानम्भोजम् अंशदेशे गरुत्मताः दृष्ट्वेखिव स्थितां वक्षः श्रियं कस्तुभाकन्दरम्.
A golden streak on his chest, the famous Kustubajim, suspended from his neck. He stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulder of Garuda.
जताः शोपतन् मृत्ना कृष्टो लब्धमनोराथः गिर्भिष्ट्वा अपरक्रतत्प्रीतिः स्वपात्मा कृतञ्जलिः.
When Kardama Muni actually realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a person, he was greatly satisfied because his transcendental desire was fulfilled. He fell on the ground with his head bowed to offer obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. His heart, naturally full of love of God, with the folded hands, he satisfied the Lord with prayers.
ऋषि उवाच जुस्तम्भद्यखिल स्वत्वृषे संसिद्धम् अक्षणोस्तव दर्शनाः यत्नोर्दर्शनं जन्मभिर्इत्यसद्भिरससते योगिनो रुद्रयोगः.
The great sage Kardama said, O Supreme, worshipful Lord, my power of sight is now fulfilled, having attained the great perfection of the sight of you, who are the reservoir of all existence. Through many successive Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you move little bit more? Successive birth of deep meditation, advanced yogis aspire to see your transcendental form.
ये मया यते हता मध्यस्त्वात् प्रदत्वद्दितं भव सिन्धुपोतम् ओपासत कामलप्यतेषां रशीषा कामन निरय्य पीये श्रुयाः.
Your lotus feet are the true vessels to take one across the ocean of mundanity. Only person deprived of their intelligence by the spell of the deluding energy will worship those feet with the view of attain the trivial and momentary pleasure of the senses, which even person rotting in hell can attain. However, O my Lord, you are so kind that you are bestowing mercy even upon them.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Tatha chachaham praviddo kama samanaशिलं grame dadinam upeyevan mulam esha shamulam durashya kama durgannagripashya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Sorry.
Krishna. Prabhuji will be joining us very soon. Would anyone like to recite Mangalacharan until Prabhuji by that time Prabhuji will join us? Okay, Hare Krishna.
I can do it. Whoops.
Yes, please, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want me to do it? Sorry. Oh, was it someone else? I'm not
Yes,
sure.
please. Yes, please, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Om अज्ञानतिरिमन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टां स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपद कमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवम् साधवेदं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादन सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Did you do the Mangala Charanam praise?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Jyoti Mataji.
Yes, Vanita Mataji just did the prayer, Mangalacharan prayer.
Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam papanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasachari Shatarini. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we will start a new chapter, chapter number 21. This is third canto. Chapter number 21, entitled Conversation Between Manu and Kardama. So very nice chapter. So we shall be discussing verses 1 to 4 today. Share my screen. Okay. Where is the Zoom? Oh, here we go. Text number 1. So although the chapter is entitled Conversation Between Manu and Kardama, we understand that this particular conversation is being narrated by Maitreya Muni to Vidura. So text number 1. Vidura uvacha swayambhuvasya cha mano vamsa parama samataha kachyatam bhagavan yatra maitunin aitira prajaha. Vidura uvacha. Vidura said, Swayambhuvasya, of Swayambhuva, Cha and Mano of Manu, Vamsha, the dynasty, Parama most, Samataha esteemed, Kachatam, kindly describe, Bhagavan, O worshipable sage, Yatra in which, Maitunena through sexual intercourse, Hedhira multiplied, Prajaha the progeny. Vidura said, the line of Swayambhuva Manu was most esteemed. O worshipful sage, I beg you, give me an account of this race whose progeny multiplied through sexual intercourse. Purport. Regulated sex life to generate good population is worth accepting. Actually, Vidura was not interested in hearing the histories of person who merely engaged in sex life. But he was interested in the progeny of Swayambhuva Manu, because in that dynasty, good devotee kings appeared who protected their subjects very carefully with spiritual knowledge. By hearing the history of these activities, therefore, one becomes more enlightened. An important word used in this connection is parama samatha, which indicates that the progeny created by Swayambhuva Manu and his sons was approved by great authorities. In other words, sex life for creating exemplary population is acceptable to all sages and authorities of Vedic scriptures. So, very important and insightful purport by Srila Prabhupada. As we know that Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Purana, the spotless Purana. There is nothing in the Purana, this Purana, that is material. Everything, every word, every syllable is spiritual. And one may automatically question, Maitunena, through sexual intercourse. Now we know sexual intercourse is considered, according to those of Vedic wisdom, not a subject matter for this discussion among the swans, the swan-like personalities. It may be a point of discussion among the crow-like persons, but not like the swan-like persons. So immediately we can know that this can't be some descriptions or historical events of some mundane sexual activity. It has to be something transcendental, because it's being asked between two transcendental personalities. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that this history is worthy of being discussed and heard, because it's the history of the pure devotees or the devotees of the Lord. And Prabhupada also clarifies that any activity done for the pleasure of the Lord or in accordance with the direction and the order of the spiritual master, it's not mundane and it's acceptable to all the sages and authorities of Vedic scripture. I mean, if it was mundane, and we see where this is leading up to, the great devotees, the Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami, who's describing this to Maharaj Parikshit. So it's a conversation with a conversation within a conversation. They could have just skipped and went straight into the part where Lord Kapila is born and gives instructions on Sankhya Yoga. So we can understand that this is transcendental subject matter, and it is worthy of being heard. This is the point that Srila Prabhupada is making. Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master himself said, he would have many, many, many children if they were Krishna conscious children. His own father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, had many children, and they were all devotees of Krishna. So everything has its place, its proper place. Nothing is rejected. So here we are getting the mandate, we are getting an understanding from this first verse that what is to follow is not something that we should just skip over very quickly. We should take our time, we should understand it, we should hear it with full attention, and we should appreciate it with a full heart. So we move on to text number 2. Priyavato Uttanapadho Shuddha Swayambhuvasya Vai Yatha Dharmam Jukju Patuhu Sapta Dvipavatim Mahim. Priyavrata, Maharaj Priyavrata, Uttanapadho, and Maharaj Uttanapad, Shuto, the 2 sons, Swayambhuvasya, of Swayambhuva Vai indeed, Yata, according to Dharmam, religious principles, Patu, ruled, Saptvat Dvipa Vatim, consisting of 7 islands, Mahim, the world. Translation, purport by Srila Prabhupada. The 2 great sons of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata and Uttanapad, rule the world consisting of 7 islands, just according to religious principles. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is also a history of the great rulers of different parts of the universe. In this verse, the names of Priyavrata and Uttanapad, sons of Swayambhuva Manu, Swayambhuva, are mentioned. They rule this earth, which is divided into 7 islands. These 7 islands are still current as Asia, Europe, Africa, America, Australia, and the North and South Poles. There is no chronological history of all the Indian kings in Srimad Bhagavatam, but the deeds of the most important kings such as Priyavrata and Uttanapad, and many others like Lord Ramachandra and Maharaj Yudhishthira are recorded because the activities of such pious kings are worth hearing. People may benefit by studying their histories. Yes, we need role models. Prabhupada is saying, Swayambhuva Manu, he had many sons, and there were many kings in the history of the world, but only 2 are being mentioned. And in particular, these 2, Priyavrata and Uttanapad, their activities should be studied because they are role models. And if there's any king who is wondering how they should rule the world, who was the perfect role model? What example should they follow? Mahajena Gata Sapantaha. In life, there is no need to come up with a new formula. There is no need to try to conjure up our own spiritual path. The Mahajans and the Maharishis, they've already shown the way. All we have to do is study their examples and their lives. And if we follow that, then everything will be perfect and understood. Therefore, these books like the Srimad Bhagavatam in particular is so important. Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada writes, it's It's a spiritual revolution, a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire world. That's what Prabhupada wrote. Srimad Bhagavatam is a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the world. So the culture of the Bhagavat is wide-ranging. It's the culture, primarily the culture of bhakti, and that culture includes the examples and the role models of the great devotee and saintly kings and the saints. Therefore, Bhagavatam has all of this. Bhagavatam doesn't just go to the philosophy. It deals with all of this. Prabhupada says, these are like Priyavrata, Uttanapad, Lord Ramachandra, and Maharaj Yudhisthira. They are singled out in the Bhagavatam. Text number 3. Tasya vai dvita Brahman deva uttiti vishruta patni prajapate ukta kardamasya tvaya nagha. Tasya, of that Manu, why indeed Duita, the daughter of Brahman, holy Brahmana, Deva Uti, named Deva Uti, iti das, Vishnurat was known, Patni, wife, Prajapate, of the Lord of created beings, Ukta, has been spoken of, Kardhamasya, of Kardam Muni, Tvaya, by you, Anaga, O sinless one. Holy Brahmana, O sinless one, you have spoken of his daughter, known by the name Devahuti, as the wife of the sage Kardama, the Lord of created beings. Purport. Here we are speaking of Swayambhuva Manu, but in the Bhagavad Gita we hear about Vaivasvata Manu. The present age belongs to Vaivasvata Manu. Swayambhuva Manu was previously ruling, and his history begins from the Varaha age, or the millennium when the Lord appeared as the boar. There are 14 Manus in one day of the life of Brahma, and in the life of each Manu there are particular incidents. The Vaivasvata Manu of Bhagavad Gita is different from the Swayambhuva Manu. So there is some interesting discussions going on here, or Prabhupada is mentioning about the Manus. So let me see if I can share with you. I wasn't able to put this in a slide, but hopefully you can see it. Let me share this. So actually it's on my email. So there's a few Manus being spoken about. Hopefully you can see. So here it's being explained that a single day of Lord Brahma is called a kalpa. And each kalpa contains 14 manvantaras, or periods ruled by a particular Manu. Each manvantara, that means each period of Manu, has 71 Mahayugas. And what is a Mahayuga? The Mahayuga are the 4 yugas of Satya, Treta, Dwarpa, and Kali Yuga. The next part I won't get into. The consecutive, there's a period called the Sandhya. I won't speak about that. So one Manvantara, which is 71 Mahayugas, is 306 million 7 306,720,000 years. Now, the first Manu, just let me get this right. The first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu. Yeah. And, okay, just bear with me. So the first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu. The second is Swatpara Manu. The third is Uttama Manu. The fourth is Tamasa Manu. The fifth is Raivata Manu. The sixth is Chakshusa Manu. And the seventh is Vaivasvata Manu. So currently, we are in which Manu? Currently, we are in the seventh Manu. We are in the seventh Manu. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining here that this history, which is being discussed, here, is about Swayambhuva Manu. And Swayambhuva Manu, he's the first Manu of the 14th. And Prabhupada is talking in the purport about the Vaivasvata Manu spoken in the Bhagavad Gita. And he's the seventh Manu. And Swayambhuva Manu, his period was when Lord Varaha appeared, the boy incarnation. So we are currently in the seventh Manu. The first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu, and the seventh is Vaivasvata Manu. That's what Arjuna speaks about in the Bhagavad Gita. I wanted to make a slide so you can just see it more clearly. And as I explained, that each Manu, he lives for 71 Mahayugas, which is 306,720,000 years, which is a long period. Text number 4, which is the last text reading for today. Tasyam savai Mahayogi yuktayam yoga lakshanai sas arja katidha viryam tanme shushru sabe vada. Tasyam, in her, saha kardama muni, why in fact Mahayogi, great mystic yogi, yuktayam, endowed, yoga lakshanai, with the eightfold symptoms of yogic perfection, sasarja, propagated, katida, how many times, viryam, offspring, tat, that narration, me, to me, shushrusave, who am eager to hear, vada, tell. How many offspring did that great yogi beget through the princess, who was endowed with eightfold perfection in the yogic principles? Oh, pray tell me this, for I am eager to hear it. Here, Vidura inquired about Kardama Muni and his wife Devahuti and about their children. It is described here that Devahuti was very much advanced in the performance of eightfold yoga. The 8 divisions of yoga performance are described as 1. Control of the senses. 2. Strict following of the rules and regulations. 3. Practice of the different sitting postures. 4. Control of the breath. 5. Withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. 6. Concentration of the mind. 7. Meditation. And 8. Self-realization. After self-realization, there are 8 further perfectional stages, which are called yoga siddhis. The husband and wife, Kardam and Devahuti, were advanced in yoga practice. The husband was a Mahayogi, great mystic, and the wife was a Yoga Lakshana, or one advanced in yoga. They united and produced children. Formerly, after making their lives perfect, great sages and saintly persons used to beget children. Otherwise, they strictly observed the rules and regulations of celibacy. Brahmacharya, following the rules and regulations of celibacy, is required for perfection of self-realization and mystic power. There is no recommendation in the Vedic scriptures that one can go on enjoying material sense gratification at one's whims, as one likes, and at the same time become a great meditator by paying a rascal some money. So here we are getting a description of Kardam Muni and Devahuti. The Ashtanga yoga process is the eightfold mystic yoga process, which Srila Prabhupada has described in the purport. And the very first part of the process is control of the senses, following rules and regulations, yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, just forgetting this, the Sanskrit name, 7, meditation is dhyana, and then 8 is samadhi. So this is the eightfold mystic yoga process. And it is described here after one has practiced and has achieved the eighth, which is samadhi, then one progresses and develops the yogic siddhis, becoming smaller than the small, the prapta siddhis, the bigger than the biggest, heaviest than the heaviest, being able to create one's own planets. So here we can hear that Devahuti, she was a yogini, because she had already perfected the eightfold mystic yoga process. And her husband was a Mahayogi. He had fully developed the yogic siddhis. So there are two great personalities that's being spoken about. And Prabhupada is explaining here that the Vedic process was people were very, very careful. They knew that if there was to be peace and harmony in the world, only worthy children had to be born. If unworthy children, which Arjuna calls or refers to as Vanasankara in the Bhagavad Gita, if such children were born, there's havoc. And these great personalities, they would beget children for that main purpose, to produce worthy citizens. And this is so much in contrast to what's happening in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, there is no practice. Even in ISKCON, Prabhupada never said a devotee should get perfected in the Ashtanga yoga process. Prabhupada said, before any couple decides to procreate and have children, the husband and wife should each chant 50 rounds And by chanting 50 rounds in good consciousness, then those parents, just by dint of the power of the holy name, such parents would be in ideal consciousness. And the children that would come from such a union would be a great benefit and gift to the world. Today, if we look at the youth, if we see what's going on in the schools, if we see what is going on in the street, if you see what behavior they display in public, in the trains, it's just, you just look at them and you can just see these are Vana Sankara, unwanted progeny. They cause nothing but difficulty and stress for the world. So therefore, Kali Yuga is such a difficult age. People are not trained up in this way of living. They are not trained up in this culture. If they were and they followed, the world would be a different place. And we will read further on in this particular chapter about the details of Kardamoni and Devahuti. So, therefore, Prabhupada said we should propagate the Srimad Bhagavatam far and wide. When people read Srimad Bhagavatam, they're not only getting philosophy, they're getting cultural principles that will make the world a better place. People do not know this particular culture, this art. People complain, what's happening with the world today? Why is society just so degraded? Why there's so much of trouble? And the simple answer is that the children being produced in the world are of bad consciousness. Therefore, the devotees, they should have many children. You can see the quality of devotee children, so special. And we shall hear what was the product of the union of Kardam Muni and Devahuti. We shall read about it in this chapter. So dear devotees, I've been just going on. Hope you are still awake. I'll stop here. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you for this very interesting class. The concept of the Manvantaras, the age and the years involved, is just quite hard to comprehend. And you made one of the texts refers to the appearance of Varadev in the millennium of Swayambhava Manu. Do we have any idea about when Lord Ramchandra appeared? Which millennium, which Treta Yuga?
In which Manvantara?
Yes.
Okay, let me just check it up quickly. I'll tell you. So he appeared in this. It's describing Lord Ram's avatar in the Treta Yuga of the Vaivasvata Manvantara. So he's appeared in this Manu, the seventh Manu.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of curiosity, I was just trying to put a timeline between the appearance of Lord Ramchandra and then the next yuga comes in, which is like the Dwapar Yuga, and then, Lord Krishna. So I was trying to mathematically get my head around it. So, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, this
So it's quite an incomprehensible topic, but thank you for that.
yeah, the time scales are just, I mean, just to think about 306,720,000, 71 Mahayugas. That means 70 of the 4 cycles of Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. So, Lord Krishna had appeared in one of the Mahayugas, one of the 71 Mahayugas, and Lord Ram had appeared in also one of the 71 Mahayugas. It'll be nice to find out, was it the first, the second?
Oh, which one? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to answer your question, it's in the 7th Manvantara.
Manvantara. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I've got, I'm a bit confused on the text 3 purport. The last line in the purport, it says, Vayavasta Manu of Bhagavad Gita is different from Swayambhuva Manu.
Yes.
What is the difference? I'm not getting it.
Okay, I mentioned to you that there are 14 Manvantaras, Manus.
Okay.
You get that there are 14. In the day of Lord Brahma. In the day of Lord Brahma, there's 14.
Yeah.
Right? So the very first, and each of the Manvantaras is 71 cycles of the Mahayugas. So just to put it simple, each Manvantara lives for 306,720,000 years. Right? So the first Manvantara was Swayambhuva Manu. Second was Satya
Oh,
Param.
yes.
And the
Yeah,
third
you went through
Tama.
that. Yeah.
And the 7th one was Vaivashta. Vaivasvata Manu. So we are now in the 7th Manu. Yeah. And the first Manu was Swayambhuva Manu.
Okay.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about I first spoke this Gita, to the sun god and so on. So that's the difference.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's the difference. You get it, Mataji?
Yes, I do now. Yeah, sorry. I probably wasn't listening properly. I thought, hang on a minute, I don't get the last line. Sorry, I was going to ask you anyway. Thank you for clarifying that.
Hare Krishna. The last line is saying,
yes.
7th Manu and the first Manu.
Okay, thank
7th
you.
Manu is different from the first Manu. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Prabhuji, just to clear up one confusion, when Krishna says he spoke this yoga to Vivaswan, who is the sun god, Vaivasvata in Vivaswan, this like in Vivaswan spoke that yoga to Manu, his son. So how does that go into the descendant Vaivasvata? There, comes down from the sun god. I don't know if I'm explaining it.
Let me go to the verse in the Bhagavad Gita if I can get it quickly.
I spoke this yoga to Vivaswan. Vivaswan spoke it to Manu, I think, and he spoke.
Yeah.
And then he passed on his knowledge to his son Manu, who taught it to Ikshvaku. So Vaivaswan is the descendant?
Let me just bring up Mataji the exactly. We 4, that's 4:1, I think, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
4:1. Yeah. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Let me just share my screen. see it also. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivaswan. And Vivaswan instructed to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu in turn instructed to Ikshvaku. So we understand that everyone has a history. Swayambhuva Manu has a history. He has a father. Yes?
Yes.
So what this verse is saying, Krishna is saying that he instructed this to the sun god, right? And the sun god instructed it to the Manu of that particular time.
Okay.
And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So Prabhupada says here, the father of mankind, and in brackets Prabhupada puts the name Vaivasvata Manu.
Manu. Okay.
So Vivaswan instructed it to Vaivasvata
Vaivasvata.
Manu. Yeah. And
Okay.
then he instructed it to Ikshvaku.
Okay, Prabhuji, I can make the connection now. Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanava Pranam, Sugosh Prabhupada.
Hare Prabhu, Dhanava Pranam.
Thank you for a wonderful class and an in-depth understanding. Prabhu, my understanding is, perhaps you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the Lord appears in every yuga cycle as a yuga avatar, and within each manvantara, each yuga cycle, he appears. He may take different incarnations, and apparently it says in the Bhagavatam, I think it's 9, 10, 1, 2, that Lord Ram appears in Treta Yuga as a son of Maharaj Dashrath in Surya solar dynasty. In every Treta Yuga, the Lord appears as manifestation of his eternal pastimes, but not always in the same form or in the same or with the same associates.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he may appear multiple times. Is what within a day of Brahma, and certainly within various manus. It's not necessary that he's only appeared once within one of the manus in the day of Brahma. He may have appeared many times, or in different Treta Yugas as different forms, depending on circumstances, time, what's required. So he appears and takes an appearance, but a Yuga Avatar does appear, apparently, from what I've gleaned from this, on every Yuga, because there is a Yuga Avatar in every Yuga.
That's true. Yeah. There is a Yuga avatar, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Yuga avatar. So the Lord does appear. There's different types of avatars. There's Manvantara avatar, there's Yuga avatar, there's Guna avatar. And what you're saying, if I understand correctly, Prabhu, is once in the life of a Manu, which is 71 Mahayugas, that means 71 times the 4 cycles of yugas, the Lord can appear multiple times. Is that what you're saying?
Well, in the form of Ram was a question.
Oh, Ram.
So Ram may appear.
So he may appear like in the
Not
first
necessarily
of
with the
the
same
71. Yeah, the first of the 71, then he may appear in the 4th or the 10th or the 25th in any of the 71 Mahayuga cycles.
Correct. Once or multiple times.
Okay.
That's what I've gleaned from these couple of paragraphs of the Bhagavatam.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And also, I think it's important for devotees to differentiate that obviously Lord Ram exists eternally and his pastimes are enacted eternally, but when he chooses to appear within this particular kalpa and within which particular yuga cycle of which manvantara is determined by his mercy of when he feels is required to appear in the form of Lord Ram or in any of the other incarnation forms.
Prabhupada said multiple times, like right now, as we are sitting here discussing, Lord Ram is appearing in one of the universes. Lord Krishna is performing his Damodar Leela right now in one of the universes. So the Lord is appearing, multiple times in so many places, in so many ages. It's almost inconceivable.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's nice. These are all difficult subject matters for our little brains, or at least my little brain, to understand. But thank you for helping us.
Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, although it may be difficult to understand, we shouldn't shy away from it. Whatever our small capacity, small little brain will allow us, we should try. Yeah. Which we are trying to do, yeah. And I know I've got a very tiny brain. Thank you, Prabhu, for those insights. It really added to the discussion. Hare Krishna. All right. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close then. All glories to your service. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vanchakalpa. Durabhyascha. Kripa sindhya. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo
Namo Namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.